equation 12.3, which is our first introduction to calculus. So we're going to start by looking at the definition of a slope, the calc definition of a slope. Alright, so normally your definition of a slope is like rise over run or change in y over change in x, but now we're looking at the calc definition of slope, which tells us at any point x and f of x, our slope is equal to the limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all divided by h. Okay, and that's also the definition of a derivative, which we'll do later today. Okay, so if I'm given the function f of x equals x squared, and the point negative 2, 4, I know that this is my x value and this is my f of x value. And so if I want to find my slope, I want to find my limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all divided by h. And you plug in negative 2 for your x, and you plug in 4 for f of x, and h stays h. So if I plug in negative 2 for my x, 4 for my f of x, then I get f of negative 2 plus h minus 4 all divided by h. And I'm looking at the limit as h approaches 0. Well, my function was x squared, so my function of negative 2 plus h is negative 2 plus h squared minus 4 all divided by h. So all I did was plug negative 2 plus h into my equation. So if I square negative 2 plus h, negative 2 squared is 4 minus 4h plus h squared minus 4. This part is 2 plus h squared, or negative 2 plus h squared, all divided by h. Okay, well 4 minus 4 cancels. So I'm left with negative 4h plus h squared divided by h. Yeah, so if I factor in h out of the top, I'm left with negative 4 plus h divided by h, which then cancels. So I'm left with the limit as h approaches 0 of negative 4 plus h. And if I direct sub in 0 for h, then I get negative 4 plus 0, which is equal to negative 4. Okay, so let's do that again for f of x equals x cubed with the point 2, 8. Okay, well this is x and this is f of x. And I'm looking for my limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all divided by h. Then that tells me that I'm looking for my limit of f of 2 plus h minus 8 divided by h. And since my function is x cubed, then that tells me just to put in 2 plus h in for x, so 2 plus h cubed minus 8 divided by h. This part is 2 plus h squared. That's not a fraction. I'm just labeling that that's 2 plus h squared. So then I have to take it times 2 plus h again in order to get 2 plus h cubed. So 8 plus 8h plus 2h squared plus 4h plus 4h squared plus h cubed minus 8. That is 2 plus h cubed. This part right here is 2 plus h cubed. All divided by h, and now we're going to simplify. Okay, well, 8 minus 8 cancels. I have an 8h and a 4h, so that gives me 12h. 2h squared and 4h squared gives me 6h squared plus h cubed, all divided by h. And then if I factor out an h out of each of those top terms, then I get 12 plus 6h plus h squared, all divided by h. Yep, the h's cancel, so 12 plus 6h plus h squared. And I want to find my limit as h approaches 0, so I direct sub in 0 for my h's. So 12 plus 6 times 0 plus 0 squared. Well, 6 times 0 is 0, 0 squared is 0, so 12 plus 0 is 12. Right, and we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do it now this time where it doesn't give us a point, so we have to find our f of x plus h and our f of x separately. So I'm still finding my derivative, or my limit, as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x, all divided by h. Okay, well, f of x plus h tells me to plug in x plus h for x in my function, so negative 2 times x plus h plus 4 is f of x plus h. All you do is replace the x with x plus h. Then we're going to subtract f of x from that, and f of x is negative 2x plus 4. Then we divide the whole thing by h. Okay, so if I distribute my negative 2, I get negative 2x minus 2h plus 4. And then if I distribute this minus, negative times a negative gives me a positive 2x minus 4. All divided by h. Well, a negative 2x and a positive 2x cancel. A positive 4 and a negative 4 cancel. So I'm left with negative 2h over h. Well, then you can see that your h's cancel, and you're left with negative 2. do that again. So f of x equals negative 3x plus 5. And we want to find our derivative of that graph. Okay, well, anytime it asks you to find f of x plus h, all that tells you is to put x plus h in for x in your equation. So negative 3 times x plus h plus 5 minus negative 3x plus 5, because f of x is negative 3x plus 5, divided by h. So if I distribute my negative 3, I get negative 3x minus 3h plus 5. And if I distribute my minus, negative times a negative gives me a positive 3x. Negative times 5 gives me negative 5. Divided by h. Cancel what cancels out. So negative 3x and positive 3x cancel. 5 minus 5 cancels. So I'm left with negative 3h divided by h. And those cancel. So my derivative of that function is negative 3. Okay, and so as I said, we're going to find derivatives today. The derivative function is the same thing as your definition, calc definition of slope, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. And then that little parenthesis thing, or not parenthesis, little whatever, comma, apostrophe, that's what it's called. The little apostrophe thing is pronounced f prime of x. This part is pronounced prime, f prime of x. So when you see that, it means it's a prime, which means it's a derivative. Alright, so f of x equals 3x squared minus 2x. And we need to find the derivative of that function. So I'm going to find the limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. And so what that tells me to do is to put in x plus h anywhere I see an x in my first function. So 3 times x plus h squared minus 2 times x plus h minus f of x, which is 3x squared minus 2x, all divided by h. Okay, well, x plus h squared is x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. If I distribute this minus 2, I get negative 2x minus 2h. And then if I distribute this minus 3x squared plus 2x, all divided by h. So if I distribute my 3, I get 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared minus 2x minus 2h minus 3x squared plus 2x. All divided by h. And so let's start canceling the things that cancel then. This 3x squared cancels with a minus 3x squared, and negative 2x cancels with positive 2x. So I'm left with 6xh plus 3h squared minus 2h divided by h. And so what can I factor out of the top? H, okay, thank you, Mikey. So h comes out of that, so I have 6x plus 3h minus 2. All divided by h. So my h's cancel. And I'm left with 6x plus 3h minus 2. And once I have that, I can direct sub 0 in for h. 3 times 0 is 0, so that cancels. So 6x minus 2 is my derivative. Okay, so let's do one more like that, and you guys can get started. So 4x squared minus 5x. Okay, so I'm still looking for my derivative. So my limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. And f of x plus h tells me to put x plus h in for my x's. So 4 times x plus h squared minus 5 times x plus h minus f of x, which is 4x squared minus 5x divided by h. So if I take x plus h squared is x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. If I distribute this minus 5, I get negative 5x minus 5h. And if I distribute this minus, I get minus 4x squared plus 5x divided by h. Alright, so if I distribute 4x squared plus 8xh plus 4h squared. And then the rest of this all stays the same, so minus 5x minus 5h minus 4x squared plus 5x divided by h. Okay, we'll cancel what cancels. A 4x squared and a minus 4x squared will cancel. A plus 5x and a minus 5x will cancel. So I'm left with 8xh plus 4h squared minus 5h divided by h. So if I take out an h, then I have 8x plus 4h minus 5 left over, because my h's cancel. So I'm finding my limit as h approaches 0 of 8x plus 4h minus 5. And by direct subbing 0 in for h, 4h cancels, and I'm left with 8x minus 5. Okay, so we're going to work through 9 through 16, 29 through 42.